Tonight, ahead of the Independence bike ride, police warn that they will shut it all down if any reckless riding is witnessed. Road fatalities and accidents have doubled as compared to last year and has prompted a warning to the motoring public. And St. Lucia gets ready to mark its 41st independence anniversary. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 21st of February, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovelace St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Acting Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy has put his foot down by delivering a strong message to bikers who plan to take part in this year's Independence motorcycle activities. Speaking directly to the visiting bikers and locals, Daisy said if the reckless behavior that the riders have become known for continues, then the planned events, with the exception of activities planned for William Peter Boulevard on Sunday, will be cancelled. This course of action comes after a sharp incline of bike accidents and deaths have been recorded over the past few years, particularly around this time of year. Acting Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy has sounded a stern warning to local riders and those around the region to keep it safe on the road or be prepared to face the consequences as they get set for the Independence bike ride on Saturday. The warning forms part of a clampdown by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to ensure safety on the nation's roads. Daisy says now is the time for action on the part of authorities. He says local riders and riders from neighboring islands need to be on their best behavior or else.
We at the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, we take that as a serious issue, especially with the fatal accidents that we are having. These individuals, I have made some investigations, and they're not allowed to do this in the country, and will not allow it in St. Lucia. Actually, I have tasked the traffic department to monitor these cyclists, and we will be confiscating any cycle we find riding dangerously.
Daisy says stunts should only be performed at the designated areas.
I know there is an event for stunts that I believe permission has been granted. When it is stunts, that is where no other road users are involved. It is themselves. But where you are riding in a public place, where other vehicles, pedestrians are crossing, you need to ride safely. And if that cannot be done, as I said, the rides will not be permitted.
The ACP is appealing to the better judgment of all riders.
I know that there are persons in St. Lucia who are safe riders. They are promoting safety on that day, especially on Saturday. They are promoting safety, and that is what we would like to see on the road. Safe riding. We cannot be riding dangerously and promote, and that we are saying that we are promoting safety.
The Independence Day bike ride is slated for Saturday, the 22nd of February from 11 a.m. St. Lucia's Prime Minister is welcoming positive statements made by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, on the impact of the CIP to the socio-economic structure of participating countries such as St. Lucia. He has also joined the ECCB governor's call for harmonizing CIP programs across the OECS.
The IMF comments come at a time when these CIP programs are being viewed as controversial, with skepticism by the United States and Europe. Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Alan Chastanet, welcomes the IMF comments.
For an institution like the International Monetary Fund to acknowledge and recognize the positive contribution that CIP has made is obviously very strong. And it's a resounding endorsement of these programs. This program has a future, has a role to play in the development of a smaller island developing state, and particularly the ones here in the Eastern Caribbean.
The importance of the CIP to the islands cannot be understated. For instance, CIP in St. Kitts and Dominica have contributed in excess of 50% of these countries' GDP.
So we've come here to talk about
Bruno Lecuyer, CEO of the Investment Migration Council, the worldwide association of investor migration professionals, says his organization welcomes the IMF's recognition of the positive impact of CIP programs on our small states.
I'm delighted that investment migration as an innovative source of debt-free capital has been recognized by the IMF. The liquidity injection to Caribbean economies creates significant societal and sovereign value.
The IMF report also came with some clear advice to the islands. It has called for coordination and collaboration of the island citizenship by investment programs. The governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antoine, has also weighed in on the issue of collaboration and harmonization. He is of the view that the countries must come together to agree on pricing that reflect the precious and exclusive value of our CBI programs and reciprocity on denied applications, among others. Prime Minister Chasney of St. Lucia agrees with the ECCB governor's call for harmonization.
This harmonization and common due diligence means if somebody is rejected in St. Lucia, they should not be accepted in one of the other Eastern Caribbean islands. I've been a proponent to the fact that I think that maybe the CIP program should be run out of the OECS Secretariat, and that this become a citizenship program for the OECS, because the benefits that people get are for the OECS.
A key player in this harmonization is the Citizenship by Investment Program Association, CIPA.
As a grouping of CEOs of this program, we are fully supportive of the move towards harmonization, and we are willing to work with the OECS Commission as well as the Central Bank to ensure that this does happen.
Leading CIP global marketer Henley and Partners have been long-time proponents of a harmonized CIP program for the OECS.
It is indeed encouraging that a body as auspicious as the IMF, in its 2019 concluding mission statement of its staff report, would recognize the importance of these programs to the economies of these small islands, where, apart from tourism, it is playing a significant role in foreign direct investment inflows. That encouragement comes with a bit of advice, though, that we continue to work on improving the transparency and governance of those programs, given their importance to these economies. And in that regard, the role of the East Caribbean Central Bank and signaling its intent to be more involved in these programs has good stead for the future.
There is an air of optimism among leaders of the islands, their CIP bodies and global marketers like Henley and Partners, derived from the IMF statements. But they are also aware of the sobering advice from the ECCB and IMF to ensure that the programs are unified and well run to ensure their sustainability and viability.
In the coming days, when the island is set to see a sharp increase in road activities from motorists and bikers alike who plan to take part in numerous island-wide Independence Day activities, one top-ranking traffic officer is imploring all to be careful on the nation's roads. So far, the island has recorded 7 road fatalities and 6 vehicular accidents. Sergeant of Police Calixtus Charlemagne says this figure has doubled from the same time last year.
The Royal St. Lucia Police Force Traffic Department wishes to inform the motoring public of several ongoing road closures and diversions, which will continue throughout Independence Day activities. Sergeant Calixtus Charlemagne urges motorists to abide by the rules laid down by the Traffic Department of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force for a smooth flow of vehicular traffic in and out of the city of Castries for February 21st and 22nd, when Independence Day activities will be at peak.
Urging motorists to exercise is a social activity where everybody is involved, all road users. You must exercise a degree of care to each other when traversing on our roadway. Don't engage in destructive driving. You must pay attention. You must drive at a speed level conducive for the condition or the environment at which you are at the time.
Certain streets like Chaussee Road, Micoud Street, Manuel Street, Jeremy Street, Darling Road, La Toc Road and Brazil Street have been declared no parking zones for these 2 days. Some bus stands will be relocated temporarily as well.
The parade will start from 12:30 from that location. From northwest, they'll be queuing up from northwest to the sub playing field. They'll come down the John Cullen Highway into Shabadi Street, right turn into straight into Pena Street, towards the cathedral, take a right turn on Mickle Street, down Mickle Street, across Bridge Street, right into Manuel Street, right into Jeremy Street, left back onto the highway, on Jonathan Highway.
The first stage to come alive will be the Best of St. Lucia concert at 6 p.m. on Friday evening. At midnight, a pause will be taken at various events so that everyone can focus on the Castries waterfront for the rising of the national flag, to be followed by a grand display of fireworks. Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
The head of the World Health Organization, WHO, has expressed concern at the number of coronavirus cases with no clear link to China or other confirmed cases. His comments follow Iran's announcement of 2 more deaths, bringing the total there to 4. The window of opportunity to contain the virus, he said, is narrowing. Iranian health officials said the virus may already be in all of Iran's cities. Outside China, 1,151 cases of the virus have been confirmed in 26 countries, and there have been 8 deaths. They include 2 deaths in South Korea, which has the biggest cluster of confirmed cases apart from China, and a cruise ship quarantined in Japan. Italy on Friday announced 16 more cases, and its health minister said schools and offices would be closed and sports events cancelled in the affected regions. In other news, the Department of Health and Wellness is advising members of the public to be vigilant and maintain safe water drinking and collection practices during the period of water shortage. Contaminated water, poor sanitation, and improper water storage can expose individuals to infections and result in the transmission of a range of illnesses. Illnesses such as acute gastroenteritis, an inflammation of the stomach and the intestines. It may be spread by direct contact with an infected person, by consuming contaminated food or water, or by touching contaminated surfaces, then putting unwashed hands in your mouth. Some insects that live or breed in water can also carry and transmit diseases such as dengue fever, chikungunya, and Zika virus. These insects, known as vectors, breed in clean water, and household drinking water containers can serve as breeding grounds. If you are unsure about the water source, water should be boiled to a full rolling boil for 1 minute, then allow it to cool before using it. Alternatively, water purification tablets can be used. 1 tablet to 1 liter of water, or 1 cupful of chlorine bleach to 1 gallon of water. Let it stand for approximately 5 to 10 minutes before using. This is the Hot 7 TV nightly news. Still to come, Culture Minister Fortuna Belrose on the scale of this year's independence activities. St. Lucian soldiers in the British Army are back home and feeling the spirit of patriotism. And the police band gets ready to rock the St. Lucian crowd.